Welcome, Temple and Family History Consultants. This is the training for the Malta Ward, and we're going to cover all things Temple and Family History work so that you're comfortable and confident as soon as possible. We have a 6-week training course, so this is video 1 that will go over the things that are specific to our ward. So first off, the organization for our ward is based on the following. Now, Elder Renland in the 2019 training session at RootsTech laid out the new organization possibilities for each and every ward. There's 4 different examples, and it's up to the stake president and bishop to choose which one each ward will implement. Our ward is on this reporting structure and coordinating structure. From the ward consultants, it goes to the Temple and Family History leader, to the Elders Quorum Counselor, to the Elders Quorum President, and then to the Bishop. Since the Bishop and Elders Quorum President have redefined their responsibilities in the ward under President Nelson, this is a new way. We mostly work with the Elders Quorum Counselor now as we coordinate and organize from the ward council on down. So each ward should develop a ward plan and implement that every single year. So for 2021, our ward plan originates in the ward council, and if the ward council needs ideas, etc., they can turn to the Temple and Family History leader for some help there. But it should originate with the bishopric in the ward council so that we are covering all of the bases that we need to, and that all of the families that the ward council are preoccupied with may be involved in this ward plan. The ward plan should be detailed and have actionable goals, etc. Throughout the year. It can't be just a generic do Temple family history work or try to help people as they come to you. This needs to be a proactive approach that we implement. So our ward plan for 2021 is quite extensive and honestly a bit daunting. But as a Temple and Family History leader, I went to the Lord and asked for his help and to help present something to the ward council, and this is what we got. This is directly from the Lord for our ward, and we have 3 new programs that we are going to be implementing this year, and they deal with the different age groups. So first we have a youth early morning temple trip. Not temple trip, that's in quotes. Our ward used to do early morning temple trips. Each Wednesday morning we had just kind of a standing appointment to go to the temple and do baptisms for the dead. But since the temples are closed and we are experiencing the blessings of temple through family history work, our bishopric and our ward council wanted to implement a substitute temple trip while the temples are closed. And so this early morning youth program, which we will cover in a following video because it's its own set of ideas and principles there, we'll cover that a little bit later. Then our primary, who do not have family search accounts, etc., this activity boxes, the Discovery, Gather, Connect activity boxes, are meant to help them do family history work on a regular basis, initiate the excitement and the spirit of Elijah in their homes, and something that they can do without having to be totally computer literate or having their own family search account. And then the family history lab experiences are the purpose is twofold: to make sure that you as consultants are comfortable and confident in teaching people, and that comes from experience. And so we are going to be bringing families into the lab each Sunday and helping them in a variety of different ways. We're going to be training through those experiences, etc. But anyway, this is the 3-point plan. We obviously have more detailed explanations and goals on each one of these, but for the purpose of this slide, those are the 3 different programs that we are going to be implementing this year. So President Nelson said that while worshiping in the temple is presently not possible, I invite you to increase your participation in family history, including family history research and indexing. This is such an important work, and while temples are closed, but even more so when temples aren't closed, when we do reopen again, this is key, that family history and research and indexing, etc., bring down the powers of heaven in the same way that attending the temple does. And so as we move forward, keep that in mind, that we can access the same blessings and powers from heaven, especially the ministering of angels, etc., through temple and family history work in our sanctuaries of faith and in our chapels. So our ward goals that stem off of the ward plan, so each age group has their own specific goal. So the junior primary up to the age of 8, their goal is to complete each discovery box that is mailed to them. Now they'll be able to choose which discovery boxes they get, etc., but to complete those and excite their family in those. The senior primary, ages 8 to 12, they are memorizing their 4 generations and trying to connect with a different great grandparent each month. As they start memorizing those ancestors, they'll start recognizing their voice in family history work, etc. That's such an inspired goal right there. The youth are to attend the early morning Wednesday program and thereby gain the blessings that are there for them to get in there. The adults, now this one is usually met with quite a bit of trepidation, but let me tell you as consultants that this is so easy to do, really. And as we teach you, you'll start realizing that this is just a gateway goal, really. We should aim much higher than this. But for the adults, it's to find and connect 1 to 10 tree extending names each week. As we go through our family trees, we might find a dead end where somebody doesn't list any spouse or kids, etc., and finding 1 to 10 of those. Adults can make their own goal if they only want to find 1 a week, if they only have 5 minutes to do family history each week, whatever, or if they want to do as many as 10. Very possible, even with limited time and resources. As we connect and find those spouses and children and add those names into there, even if it's just finding floaters that are in Family Search already and connecting it to those people. It doesn't have to be completely new people to the tree, but finding and connecting 1 to 10 tree extending names each week. And it doesn't have to be from your direct line. So anybody that comes and says, oh, my tree's already done, we've got our bases covered. It can be anywhere in God's tree. All right, and then for families, that they visit the Family History Lab once a year. That's our goal. And so with our ward, we have about 90-ish active families, and that's going to require in a 52-week year that we bring in a couple families each week. It fluctuates depending on the size of the family. Sometimes we can bring in 4 or 5 families. When there's big families of 8 kids, etc., then we're going to have to scale that back. Anyway, but about 2 families a week. And then, as far as our consultants, that we are fully trained by March and confident by May. Now, that one was a bit of a stretch because I didn't realize how many consultants we were actually going to get from the names that we turned in. So that's going to be pushed back just a little bit, but totally doable, that we're fully trained in our specialties by March and confident by May. All right, so how much time is this going to take you each week to do? Because, I mean, there are so many different rabbit holes, etc., that you can go down. It can really be a huge time sucker that we don't want you to get overwhelmed and inundated. And that's why we've worked with these different programs and developed in the way that they have, so that we're sharing the load and not overwhelming and stressing everyone out. So if you are involved in the early morning youth program, your contribution will be 1 hour each week. If you are helping with the Family History Lab, Sundays after church, it'll be 1 hour after church each week. I do recommend that you spend 1 to 2 hours personally training and working on your own family tree so that you can help people. This is, if nothing else, this green one is the minimum required effort to put into being a consultant. 1 to 2 hours a week training and working on your own family tree. And then once we are trained and more confident, we will work up to 1 to 3 hours helping other ward members one-on-one in their family trees and helping excite and motivate them in family history work. Now, we do have another group of consultants that have been developed since this slide was made. We are doing a family reconstitution program, community reconstitution program, sorry, that is also going to be about 1 to 2 hours a week. And so you're either in the youth program, the family history lab program, or the community reconstitution program. And each of those are going to be about 1 hour a week of your time, and then about 1 to 2 hours a week training. So it's not too daunting, but this is going to be one of your more challenging things as you start growing. More time is going to be implemented. So where do I start? Family history work is so expansive. It's not just doing crazy old research the hard way with correspondence and letters, etc., in a dark corner of the church building. There are so many avenues, and there's a place for everyone at the Lord's banquet table of family history work. So as you can see here, this is just a wild flow chart of kind of some of the areas of family history work. But I do not expect every single consultant to be a master at all of these. That would be almost impossible. I've been a state consultant for about 3 years, and I find that I'm good in some areas, that I'm bad in some areas, and I've kind of jack of all trades in all of them so that I can help coordinate. But it would be literally impossible to master every single one of these right off the bat. Don't stress yourself out. And what we're going to do is that every one of those blue endpoints, one of those places in family history work, we're going to have one consultant per blue area become an expert in that field. So, for example, in requesting patriarchal blessings, we're going to have one consultant that really knows how to do that well, and that anybody in the ward that has that question can come to me as the family history leader, and I can direct them to the appropriate consultant who knows that process. If you're great at computer basics, we'll get you set up there, and that any ward member that needs computer basics before they start into family history work can go to you and get trained, and that every single level of family history work is covered in the ward, yet not all by one person. We're definitely sharing the load, so it's not so daunting. And then once you've mastered that area, then try to branch out, move on to a new area, get familiar and confident in it. Eventually, a couple of years down the road, you'll be confident in, at least in the overall structure, if not more than 4 or 5 different specialties. So, kind of wrapping up, as consultants, I hate group messages. It's one of the banes of my existence. So I have set up a group for us on Remind, where if you'll text that message to 81010, we can communicate there through any announcements, any consultant meetings or trainings that are required, anytime that we're having a cancellation on a youth activity or whatever. All of that will be through that Remind app. So please go ahead and sign up for those text reminders. And you can text that number back when you're replying, but it'll only come to me. It won't come to the whole entire group, and endless notifications all day when that's just unnecessary. So sign up for those announcements, and we'll get that going. And then homework for today. So as we are going to take a very much missionary approach to family history work. We need to, how do I phrase this? Because I'm coming off very demanding. But as we start helping people with family history work, it's going to be important to act like a missionary and extend invitations. As we extend invitations and invite people to do more family history work or to work on specific things in their family history research, it's important that we take that missionary approach and promise blessings. If you do this, which you are invited to do, I promise you that this blessing will follow. And we can be confident in extending blessings as we know what those blessings are. Here's 2 helpful links that will help you to get familiar with those blessings, but the homework is to memorize those blessings. Not word for word, but memorize what the general blessings are, so that as we start helping people, we can start connecting people with heaven by recognizing the blessings that are flowing into their lives and why they are flowing into their lives. It's because of the family history work that they're doing. This is a crucial point in family history work. Our 2 top priorities for helping anyone in the ward is, first, start off with prayer, end with prayer, obviously, because we're going to be giving gratitude for the help in family history work after each time. If you don't pray, you're not entitled to the Spirit's help. Always begin any session, whether it's a 5-minute session, whether it's a couple-hour session, always begin with prayer, and then always extend invitations and promise blessings so that we can start getting the powers of heaven pumping in our bloodstreams as a ward. So that's it for this first week of training. We'll catch up with week 2 as we jump into family search navigation, ancestry.com, etc., learning about the different family trees there are and why they're different. Thank you. Have a great day.